Okay, let's dive in. It's late 2025, and artificial intelligence isn't just some buzzword anymore, right? It's a global force, and it is reshaping our world. We're going to break down the 3 critical decisions being made as we speak that will define our future. $1.1 trillion, with a T. That's the value of corporate mergers and acquisitions just this year, a staggering 26% jump from last year. And the engine driving this historic boom? You guessed it, artificial intelligence.
And look, this isn't just some background trend, this is the main event. It's a primary economic force. Think about it like this. 1 out of every 4 mega deals, we're talking deals over $5 billion, is now driven by AI.
So while all this money is pouring in and the financial impact is crystal clear, the real debate about AI's societal impact, well, that's happening with the next generation. You know, the people growing up with this technology woven into their lives. This quote just captures the court tension perfectly. On one side, you have this absolutely unprecedented economic growth. And on the other, you have these fundamental questions about how we learn, how we collaborate, and even what it means to grow up. So these aren't separate issues. They are deeply connected, high-stakes problems that the world has to solve. Let's get into the first one.
Okay, decision number 1, the rules. The first massive challenge is regulation. I mean, how do you even write a rulebook for a technology that evolves faster than the law itself? As we're about to see, the world's major powers have fundamentally different answers to that question.
Right now, we've got 3 different philosophies competing on the world stage. The US is all about innovation first, pushing for deregulation to spur growth. The EU is building a rights-based rulebook that could become the global standard. And China is using state control to integrate AI directly into its national strategy. For any company trying to build AI, this creates a total minefield of uncertainty.
And hey, if you think this is just a global problem, well, it gets even more fragmented right here in the United States, because there is no single federal law for AI. Not one.
And what you end up with is this regulatory patchwork quilt. It's wild. California is focused on transparency, New Jersey's worried about data centers, Illinois is looking at health data, and you've got over 40 other states creating their own rules. This contradictory legal landscape makes it nearly impossible for companies to operate on a national scale. Okay, let's move to the second decision. And this one is less about code and a lot more about something brutally physical: electricity.
This quote just frames the most unexpected bottleneck in the entire AI revolution. The biggest problem these companies have isn't algorithms or talent, it's literal electrical power. You can have the best model in the world, but it's completely useless if you can't plug it in.
Get ready for this number: 945 terawatt hours. That is the projected annual energy demand for data centers by 2030. Now, to put that into perspective, that's more electricity than the entire country of Japan uses in a single year. We essentially have to build a power grid equivalent to a developed nation's just for data centers in the next 5 years. It's staggering.
And AI isn't just a little more power hungry, it is exponentially more demanding. A new AI data center can consume 5 times more electricity than one built just a decade ago. Our current infrastructure? Well, it's just not built for this kind of surge.
This isn't just a technical problem anymore. It's becoming a political one. It's pitting local communities worried about their resources and their electricity bills against some of the biggest tech giants in the world.
And the result is that public resistance has become a major roadblock for AI infrastructure. The industry desperately needs more power, but local communities are increasingly saying, "Nope, not in my backyard."
All right, let's move to our final decision, which brings the rules and the resources all together into a global geopolitical contest.
This warning coming from inside the White House sent absolute shockwaves through the policy world. For years, the assumption was that the U.S. had this commanding lead. This suggests the competitive gap is closing much, much faster than anyone thought. This timeline reveals a classic case of unintended consequences. See, U.S. export controls, which were designed to slow China down, instead sparked this huge wave of domestic innovation. China developed its own advanced 7-nanometer chips, a key to high-performance computing, and then created models like DeepSeek that have now almost completely erased the U.S. performance advantage.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because it looks like the 2 powers might not even be running the same race. The U.S. is chasing the moonshot, creating artificial general intelligence, or AGI, a human-level AI. Meanwhile, China is focused on practical deployment, using today's AI to supercharge its economy and build influence. This makes any simple strategy to win the race incredibly complicated.
So, how do these three massive challenges, the rules, the power, and the race, all connect? Well, they're not separate problems. They are locked in a dangerous feedback loop.
Here's how it works. Strict regulation at home risks slowing innovation, which puts a country behind in the geopolitical race. Falling behind creates immense pressure to deregulate. But deregulation to speed up construction of massive data centers requires huge amounts of power, which then clashes with local regulations and community opposition. Each problem just fuels the next, making the entire crisis that much harder to solve.
And it leaves us with this one provocative thought. Perhaps the race for the world's most advanced technology won't be won by the best algorithm. Perhaps it'll be won by whoever can solve a much older problem, simply keeping the lights on.